In a move that has sent ripples through diplomatic circles across Africa and the West, Burkina Faso, a modest landlocked country in West Africa, is stepping into an unexpected new chapter, one that involves nuclear energy, global power dynamics, and a deepening alliance with Russia.
Mr. President, friends, we are very glad to see you.
Under the revolutionary leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso has signed a bold and controversial nuclear cooperation agreement with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, a pressing question looms. Is West Africa on its way to becoming a nuclear power? The news broke following a high-level meeting between Burkina Faso and Russian officials in June 2025. Confirming a joint initiative to construct a nuclear power plant in Burkina Faso, a country currently plagued by an unstable electricity grid, widespread energy poverty, and ongoing security threats from terrorist groups. But what raised global eyebrows was not just the announcement of a new energy project. It was the speed, symbolism, and strategic alignment of the deal. This is more than just about powering homes. It is about power of a very different kind. To understand the weight of this development, we must start with the basics. Burkina Faso, like many Sahelian nations, is heavily dependent on diesel generators and inconsistent electricity imports from neighbors like Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. Less than 25% of the rural population has access to reliable electricity, and frequent blackouts stifle both industrial growth and educational development. Against this backdrop, the promise of nuclear energy seems almost unimaginable, yet potentially transformative. But where did this nuclear dream come from? The answer lies in the rapidly shifting geopolitical alliances taking place across Africa. Since 2022, Ibrahim Traoré has repositioned Burkina Faso as a sovereign-focused, pan-Africanist state.
Dans le domaine de l'énergie nucléaire, c'est toutes les questions et on va faire notre mieux pour vous aider de développer dans toutes ces sphères.
His government expelled French troops, rejected Western interference, and turned eastward, toward Russia. Alongside Mali and Niger, Burkina Faso is part of a rising coalition that is challenging former colonial powers and seeking new security and economic partnerships with Moscow. Russia, under Putin, has seized this opportunity to expand its influence in Africa, economically, militarily, and now nuclearly. Through its state-owned nuclear agency, Rosatom, Russia has been quietly signing agreements across the continent, including with Egypt, Sudan, and now Burkina Faso. The goal is to create long-term dependency on Russian technology, training, and uranium enrichment systems, while presenting itself as a non-Western alternative for African modernization. So what does this nuclear deal with Burkina Faso actually involve? According to official statements, the first phase includes the construction of a small modular nuclear reactor, SMR, a compact, scalable reactor capable of generating clean, stable electricity for up to 1 million people. Unlike traditional mega-reactors, SMRs can be built faster, at lower cost, and are ideal for developing countries with weak infrastructure. Russian engineers will design and build the facility, while Burkina Faso technicians are to be trained over the next several years in nuclear operations, safety protocols, and power grid integration. Traoré hailed the deal as a historic step toward energy independence and technological sovereignty.
You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people.
He emphasized that this move would not only provide affordable electricity, but also enable Burkina Faso to develop its own scientific and industrial capacity. "We must not fear technology," he said in a national address. "We must master it. Africa has been kept in the dark for too long, literally and politically. That time is over." Predictably, reactions have been mixed. Supporters of the initiative argue that this is a revolutionary step toward self-reliance. They see nuclear energy as a clean, long-term solution to Africa's crippling energy crisis, far superior to fossil fuels or expensive solar imports. For many young Burkinabe, Traoré is a hero boldly leading the country into a new technological era. But critics, both inside and outside the country, have raised urgent concerns. First, there's the security risk. Burkina Faso is still battling extremist groups in the north and east. Could a nuclear facility become a terrorist target? There are also environmental and safety fears. What happens if the reactor malfunctions in a region with weak emergency infrastructure? And most of all, skeptics warn that this deal deepens Burkina Faso's dependence on Russia, raising the specter of a new kind of neocolonialism, one driven not by guns and flags, but by reactors and uranium. The West has also taken notice. France, the EU, and the United States have expressed concern over the growing Russian footprint in the Sahel. Intelligence agencies are reportedly monitoring Russian activities in the region, including possible military deployments under the guise of nuclear cooperation. Some analysts even fear that this nuclear expansion could be the early stages of a larger strategic game, one that turns the Sahel into a new Cold War theater where energy and influence collide. Meanwhile, other African countries are watching closely.
I'm archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traoré, and today I'm pulling off your masks. Yes, you heard correctly. I, whom you call a young military junta leader.
Could Burkina Faso become the first domino? If successful, this deal may encourage other energy-hungry nations like Mali, Guinea, or Niger to pursue similar agreements with Russia or even China. A nuclear-powered West Africa, once a distant dream, now appears possible, though fraught with complexity. Still, Traoré's government remains defiant. "We are not building weapons," one government spokesman clarified. "We are building the future." The same countries that once colonized us now tell us not to embrace nuclear technology. We say no, we will decide for ourselves. And perhaps that is the heart of the story. This is not just about atoms and reactors. This is about sovereignty, identity, and the right of African nations to pursue their own path, no matter how controversial it may appear to outsiders. Whether it leads to a brighter future or a dangerous gamble remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. Burkina Faso, under Ibrahim Traoré, is no longer playing small. It is thinking big, nuclear big, and that alone has already changed the conversation. As the world grapples with the shifting balance of power, one thing is certain. Burkina Faso is no longer just reacting to global events, it is helping shape them. Whether Traoré's nuclear vision proves to be a masterstroke of sovereignty or a high-risk gamble, only time will tell. But what cannot be ignored is the boldness of this step, the willingness of a small West African nation to engage with the world on its own terms and through its own ambitions. The age of dependency is fading. A new era is emerging, one where African states are redefining what development, power, and partnership truly mean. And Burkina Faso may have just lit the fuse of that future, powered not by oil or aid, but by the atom. If you found this story compelling, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big shift in global politics. Share this with others who need to know what's really happening in Africa and beyond. And don't forget, the full story with deeper analysis and expert opinions is available now on our channel. Go check it out.